Hey there, so it's Monday, June 15th, and I literally got home from work about 10 minutes ago. And the process lately has been that I pre-weigh all of my flour, and sometimes I try to do the water and put it in the fridge, and my husband will mix it for me, and I'll pre-weigh even the starter for it to be ready. That way, when he's home from work, he mixes everything for me. And by the time I come in, I just add the salt and mix on high speed for 10 minutes and let it rest. And then I do about 2-3 stretch and folds. And it's from there it's go time, because the temperature on the dough has been in the range of the 80-82s. So everything goes quite fast. I think this dough was ready in about 3 hours after I mixed it. So it's pretty fast, and based on the temperature, I only let it rise for about 30% because this dough goes through a cold proof in my fridge for 2 days. So on Monday night, it goes into the fridge, and then Wednesday, probably in the afternoon, I get going with baking because, as you know, most of the things have to be baked the day before. But I always try to bake the latest as possible so everything stays fresh, because the market it's on Thursday. As you might be able to tell a bit through the video, as I rearrange my prep tables, I align them right next to each other. That way I have a lot more surface area, because I used to have it in the L shape. And what was going on is that I was having a lot of tension in my shoulders, I guess because of the movement, you're twisting your body and things like that. And I've been feeling less achy, so I feel more rested. And I think it's good to change things when things are working out for your body. So I'm very pleased that this little adjustment made a big difference. And from there, I was able to pretty much finish things a lot faster, surprisingly. All of my loaves, well, the plain ones, are 900 pre-bake. And as you can tell from my previous videos too, is I like to line my bannetons with napkins. I think it's hygienic, it's disposable, and it's easygoing and quick. I don't need to be washing liners or anything of that nature. My goal for this market season has been to be prepared as much as possible. For instance, all of these bannetons were lined Sunday night. That way I'm ready for the week. I like to clean everything else, my ovens. I even like to clean the bannetons if there's any dough. Yeah, so I like to try to have everything ready to go. That way my dough day, it's smooth, and I don't have to be, stressing or spending time on preparing things. Since the dough is going to go into the fridge for 2 days, I like to cover the dough with plastic film or plastic, because it needs to rise a bit more during those 2 days in the fridge. Yes, the temperature in the fridge is usually around 37 degrees, but that doesn't mean it'll halt fermentation. It'll continue to ferment at a slower rate, but by keeping some plastic on top of the dough, it will contain, or it will keep the dough a little bit warm until it actually remains at the fridge temperature, until it drops to the fridge temperature is what I'm trying to say. So it will rise a bit. If I put it on cover, the dough will get cold very quickly, and it will create a dry layer, and I don't want that, because I want the dough to continue to proof in the oven. Oh gosh, not in the oven, in the fridge. And for Monday dough day, I like to use most of the plastic bannetons. It's just my preference. And then for the Wednesday dough day or Thursday, I like to use my bamboo or rattan bannetons. So it's Wednesday, and I actually mixed the English muffin dough Tuesday night. I did 2 stretch and fold, and the dough temperature was about 68-70 degrees. And then I tucked it into the fridge uncovered. That way the temperature drops quicker and it doesn't create condensation, because if you put the lid right away, you will have a lot of water on the sides of the dough and the lid, and it's quite annoying when you're trying to shape. It's actually a little bit hard. So I like the dough to dry a bit, and then I'll cover it. So I usually have it uncovered in the fridge for about 15 minutes. And then on Wednesday, right after I came from work, I pretty much used my dough cutter to cut each of the dough balls in about 100 grams. And then I roll it, and then I pretty much roll it in cornmeal, and then I let it proof for about usually at least 4 to 5 hours. I invested it in a dough cutter about 3 months ago. I actually got it, I think, a month before market started. No, even more. But yeah, anyways, and lately I have been using it a lot because English muffin is one of my top sellers. It does take a lot of time preparing, because I used to cut every single little dough ball into 100 grams. And just for one market, I used to do roughly 300 English muffins. So because now I'm doing 2 markets, I want to be able to use my time efficiently. That's why I decided to invest in the dough cutter. And it has saved me so much time. So much time. Even I have been less tired because I'm not standing as long cutting dough. It used to be so tedious and annoying, but it was worth every single penny. I actually got the Vivor, I think it's pronounced the Vivor dough cutter. It was about $1,200. So yes, it was an investment, but let me tell you, I recovered it in a week. So well worth the money. I can probably do another video on how I bake my English muffins in my forno. But I line 15 English muffins in a full-size tray. And I use parchment paper. And once they're proof, I glide it into another tray, which fits perfectly into my forno oven. And it's called a croissant tray, the brand. And yeah, I like to maximize space as well. And I bake it with using the double tray method. That way it retains the steam of the English muffins and gives them that beautiful oven spring. They're nice and airy and hides all of the nooks and crannies that an English muffin should have. For the Thursday market, I used to do 120 English muffins, but the demand has been a little higher. So for this market, for the Thursday market on that week, I decided to do 160 English muffins, so 40 more English muffins. And yeah, this is where I let them rest this little gray container in my fridge. So now the process is, once I take it out, I pre-weigh a big dough ball of 4,000 grams, and then I cut it with a machine, and they'll give me 40 dough balls of 100 grams. The only downside about the machine that we got is because it's the affordable version, it is a little bit of a pain to clean it, but my husband is in charge of cleaning it. He has to use some power tools, and yeah, he helps me. We're in the same boat. That's the best thing, that we understand each other, and he tries to help me as much as possible. So now let me show you how I use the dough press for the English muffins. The dough has to be as evenly leveled out or flat as possible. And then with the machine, I like to press it probably 3-4 times. That way it flattens it out a little bit more. And then I like to release I can't remember what's that called. So it starts cutting the dough. I like to use my body weight. My daughter always laughs at me because she thinks I'm going to flip the machine or something. But anyways, I like to use my body weight just in case and it's more pressure to cut it. But that's how it looks. And then I flip it over, and that's all it takes. So right after I dump it out, I like to separate each dough ball, or because it is a bit of a higher hydration dough, it becomes a little bit stickier. And then if I let it rest too long, it will stick to each other once again, and it's a pain because you want to maintain the same weight for each dough ball and you don't want them to stick back together. Up next, it's actually shaping my pizza crust. For me, I feel like this is a workout, but I've been getting better at it by using my hands effectively and putting the right amount of pressure where the dough needs. I know it might be a little bit hard to explain, but I'm not a professional pizza maker. So it does take some practice to get a nice, evenly shaped pizza crust. In my oven, I'm able to do 6 at a time. I believe I did 18 for this market. And it only takes 6 minutes for it to bake. So everything goes quite fast from here. So the pizza goes into my loading board and then I release it into my oven. It's very easy. I like this method actually. Instead of using the pizza peel, I used to load one by one with the pizza peel and it will take some time. So I like this way better. Here I'm showing you how I'm able to tell when my English muffins dough is ready for baking. So once you press on the dough ball, and if it comes back slowly, bounces back slowly, it means it's ready. If it bounces back too fast, it means it's not ready yet to be baked. And look at the beautiful pizza crust. Right now it looks a little bit, sloppy because in order to cool them down, it requires a lot of space. And the last thing that I pretty much needed to bake before going to the English muffin was actually my sandwich bread. I only take 12 each week and they always go by so quickly. And this is my final check on the English muffins before baking. So they're ready to go. So it's the next day on Thursday and I loaded my gluten-free sourdough. So I'm super tired. Even my voice is off. Today is what day is it? Today's Thursday, June 18th. And I'm actually at a medical center because, long story short, I have to get MRIs done every 6 months to keep track of the tumor. And these appointments are pretty much booked like at least 5 months in advance. So obviously I forget what's going to happen in 5 months from today. And then I get a reminder 3 days before the appointment, hey, you have an MRI coming up. And it's a 2-hour MRI. So that's why I'm here. Trying to get this MRI done. I always book it first thing in the morning or else I get caught up in real bad traffic. The other bad thing about it, or I guess the stressful thing about it, it's that as bad as it might sound, even though I'm taking care of my health, is that I lose some time, quite a bit of time, to prepare sourdough for my pre-orders for Saturday pickups. There's no Saturday market this week because there's an event going on in downtown, in the town that I live. So it's canceled, but then we resume next week. But I'm still doing my pre-orders as usual. It's just that I lose a lot of time, preparing dough, because then I have to be at the Thursday market at 3, and I don't think I'm gonna have enough time to prepare the dough and for it to rise and then to shape and put it in the fridge. I might have time if I increase the temperature, but I will see what I can do. But yeah, this MRI is 2 hour long. It's with contrast and without contrast. So I get an IV in my arm halfway, a little bit over halfway through the MRI, and I always take a nap. I always do, and it kind of works out because I'm tired. We were up last night until today in the morning around 1:30, packaging everything. Even though my mom is coming to help, I just wanted to get it out of the way. That way we're not rushing, because I'd rather lose sleep than lose my sanity the next day by rushing, trying to package everything and organize everything. So everything pretty much is organized in the bins. I loaded the gluten-free sourdough in the oven, and my husband's gonna check it out before he goes to work. And then he's also gonna bake about 6 orders of scones. So that's what's happening today. And let me get this MRI out of the way because I want to go home quickly. It's market day on Thursday, and pretty much it went really well. Actually, I took about 15 loaves extra than usual, and I took a lot of more pizza crust and cinnamon rolls, English muffins, and I took home 6 loaves. So it wasn't bad at all. Not bad at all. As you know, there was no Saturday market, but I'm so thankful that I was able to fill my cart with pre-orders. So if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching. Until next time.